A short summary presented by Professor Wolfgang Hofkirchner with the title Stop the Killing, Negotiations Now. It's a short summary of the International Summit for Peace in Ukraine, held in Vienna. Wolfgang Hofkirchner is a retired professor with the research areas informatics and society, philosophy and trends of technology, diffusions of new technologies and their interaction with the society and the environment. He published several books on transhumanism and the philosophy of technology, a paradigm shift for the Great Bifurcation, and many more. Stop the Killing, Negotiations Now. Vienna Declaration for Peace in Ukraine adopted. Professor Wolfgang Hofkirchner. The first conference of the International Civil Society for Peace in Ukraine was opened on the 10th June 2023 in Vienna, to the sounds of John Lennon's Imagine. It collected multiple perspectives with the aim of a ceasefire to allow a diplomatic solution. The spirit of the conference was the same spirit that is needed for peace negotiations to succeed. However, due to a campaign supported by the Austrian mass media, the organizers had to change the venue 2 days before the meeting. At the request of Ukraine, to be more precise, at the request of the Ukrainian ambassador in Vienna, the ÖGB, the Austrian Trade Union Federation, had withdrawn its commitment for the use of its premises. And here one can read the articles on the website World Beyond War, and also the article written by Professor Werner Wintersteiner. But the event could not be cancelled. The large hall of the Loreley with a capacity of 350 people was occupied to the last seat. 500 people were connected via internet. After video greetings from Noam Chomsky and Cardinal Alvaro Leonel Ramizini Imeri from Guatemala, 4 speakers made their appearance in presence or connected via internet or with a video. Jeffrey Sachs, a well-known expert in economics and US foreign policy and a long-time UN advisor, told of his own experience of how the US, beginning in 1992, have been rejecting negotiations with the Russian Federation on the eastward expansion of NATO that eventually provoked Russia to intervene in the ongoing civil war, and how the US stopped the march of 2022 negotiations of the Ukraine with Russia. He compared this policy with US President John F. Kennedy's June 1963 peace speech after the settling of the Cuban Missile Crisis. It showed that another policy was possible then and is also possible now. Former professor at Jawaharlal University in India, Anuradha Shenoy, stated that the peace movement in Europe is not alone. She clarified that the global majority, represented by the Global South, is helping pave the way for peace by advocating 3 practices. First, neutrality, then no sanctions stance, and last but not least, multipolarity. Such practices differ fundamentally from Western practices that reveal Western values as double standard. Notwithstanding, the Global South countries don't view themselves as enemies of the West. The Vice President of Bolivia, David Coquehuanca, referred to indigenous wisdom when deliberating upon the way to peace. He presented a logic of complementarity, balance, and harmony, which they called trialectics. This logic enables the people to know oneself and know the outside, and allows them to transcend all of those divisions that ultimately led to war. Former US colonel and diplomat Anne Wright, who had opposed the Iraq War, focused on the difficulties and the bringing about of ceasefires in wars. While in the US military, experts for a multitude of sophisticated roles are abandoned, there is not a single one to provide actions towards a ceasefire. Anyway, stop the killing, negotiations now is the order of the day. A next item was devoted to activists from different movements in Ukraine, in Russia, and in Belarus. They presented the positions of the directly affected. Though some of them called upon the European Western peace movement to give more support to the concrete struggles. For example, Olga Karach from Belarus demanded to support the removal of patriarchal President Lukashenko instead of keeping singing peace songs. None of them explicitly spoke out against the call for an unconditional ceasefire for the start of negotiations. For humanitarian reasons alone, this demand should be self-evident. On Sunday, working groups were built. They discussed different and opposing political positions and amended the proposed outcome document, which can be seen at the website peacevienna.org. And on this website, one can see the press releases and also the final declaration and many infos more. Further meetings and actions in other countries have been arranged. The meeting in neutral Vienna was just the starting point. And also the record of the conference will be available soon. So this was the short summary by Professor Wolfgang Hofkirchner.